Hey guys, welcome to another episode of As Told by Ari. This is kind of like my first reaction video, so this will probably be the shortest video I make, but couldn't help it. And I put out a bunch of posts, like a bunch of polls the other day, and I'm not normally like a reaction video type of person, because I didn't want my channel to be one of those, but it's like I can't not say something. And considering how this whole week, I'll say, just genuine week, the week of September 8th, I believe today is, has been insane. It's been insane. It's been absolutely insane. So before we get into it, again, hi, I'm Ari. This is As Told by Ari. Thank you for coming back. Subscribe to the channel. And we're just gonna get into it, okay? So I guess this week's biggest controversy is the fact that Nike used Colin Kaepernick as the face for their Just Do It ad. And a lot of people have actually started lighting fires because of this. I mean, literally, they've been lighting their things on fire. Things that they have already purchased from Nike. They have already spent their money on it, and they're lighting it on fire because of this ad. Now, I'm gonna state the argument right off the bat. So the reason a lot of people have an issue with Colin Kaepernick is because he started a protest, a movement really in, I believe it was 2014, 2015, where he started kneeling during the national anthem. And this was in protest to police brutality and the injustice that people of color suffer in the United States every single day. Every single day. Okay, we are seeing more and more stories of police killing teens. We're seeing more and more stories of basically just police brutality in general. Police using more power and enforcing more power than they actually should be able to. So that is the honest basis of his protest. That is exactly what it is. In doing that, he actually spoke to a former, I think he's an Army vet. I'm pretty sure he's an Army vet. He spoke to an Army vet, and he, at first, the vet was kind of pissed off that he was sitting during the national anthem, and he told him that. And considering the vet understood where he was coming from, he told him, well, instead of sitting for the national anthem, kneel for it. That's far less of a slap in the face for those who have served, and it serves much more of a purpose for those who you want to know what your cause is. So Colin Kaepernick starts kneeling, and guys, it's like the United States didn't know what to do. You had people who, couldn't stand the idea of a black man talking about the very issue that a lot of white people don't even think is an issue. He's using a public platform to talk about it, and he's also using a public platform, a professional public platform, to make his name known. So it's, I'm gonna be honest, it's been a very interesting couple years, just NFL-wise, United States-wise, seeing this protest happen, because to know that so many people are protesting him with the idea, it is literally an idea. It is the opposite of what the facts of the situation are. People are protesting and boycotting Nike because they think this man is disrespecting the military, when he got the original idea from someone in the military. Yes, the protest was his idea. The movement was his idea, but the kneeling part of the protest he got from someone who actually served in the United States military. So to hear some of you still have the argument that it's disrespectful to troops when troops are continuously showing their support, they are continuously showing you guys that not to use them as a part of your argument, it's something. It's definitely something. And it's funny because the only argument that honestly anybody can come up with is the fact that he disrespects troops. But if you think about it, again, I just said that the movement is backed by our United States military, and I'm not saying that every combat, I'm not saying that everybody who is served in the military is for the protest, but I am saying that from what I have seen and from what has been put out into the world, a large majority of military do understand that they serve in order for all of us to feel protected, not for some of us to feel protected and for some of us to have the rights of that protection. That's not the case. And considering you have black vets, black military personnel who often face disrespect, all types of racism and all types of nonsense, really, when they come home from people who actively say, well, don't disrespect the military, is absolutely 100% hilarious, and is 3,000% hypocritical. You know, I honestly could go off. I could go off the deep end with this. I could really go into the rabbit hole and down to Wonderland with the whole thing. Because personally, it perplexes me. It really perplexes me that you could actually be upset with somebody who's actively fighting an institutional issue that America has dealt with since the 1600s. And I say dealt with, like, you know, we haven't been the own cause of our own issue. I say dealt with because there are harmless victims who have had to deal with the repercussions of something that, you know, America can't really even accept was a thing here in the 1600s. Like, we can't even get over that. So, like, to know that Colin Kaepernick has openly stated why he is protesting, to know that he has openly had support from military personnel, from all across the... He has had support from his white teammates. He's had support from white coaches. So, like, the whole idea that this is a black and white issue, a black versus white issue, it's only a black v white issue for those of you that openly have an issue with a black man speaking out about police brutality. It's only a black v white issue if you're one of those people that has an issue with Colin Kaepernick because he's protesting something that a lot of you don't see as a problem. That is the only way this becomes a race issue. So, and another reason I wanted to post this. So the other day I got into a nice little Facebook interaction. And guys, I promise, normally, like, while Facebook is just a means of entertainment most of the time for me anyway, I actually felt the need to make a reaction video from that because, you know, someone who is on my friends list, I will not say that we're friends, I will say that they are my friends list, you know, this person feels the need to comment on almost everything I do on this app. And I don't care. It's not a big deal. You are completely well within your right to have the opinions you do. I don't delete people off of Facebook and shit like that because we share opposite beliefs. Like, even if I argue with you 25-8, you would have to do something, like, really bad for me to actually take the time to care to delete you. Anyway, going on. This person felt the need to go on my post and frantically try to make the point that this is not about race. Let me be the first to say out loud, openly, that this 100% has to do with race. And not in the means of this is black v white. No, this has to do with race, considering race is the forefront of the issue. Race is the literal, the literal catalyst of the issue. If there were no race issues in the United States, if police officers did not statistically target people of color more than white people, if most white people could actually understand the fact that their biases and their prejudices come out and they're overt, I won't say usually, let me not say usually, but if most white people could actually be forthcoming with their prejudices and their biases and just be downright open about the fact that it has to do with race, then these protests wouldn't have the ground that they do. They wouldn't have the roots that they do. People aren't just randomly getting mad. They're not just randomly protesting. No one's just randomly thinking like, oh, how can we piss off people today? No, the entire basis of this protest has to do with race. Race is a forefront of the issue. So for those of you who are saying that race has nothing to do with it, like race has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with it, not only are you naive, but that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard, because the whole point of the protest is the fact that people of color are treated less than those who are not people of color. Like, that is the whole black and white point of the argument. That is why he is protesting. So for those of you who, you're such a race baiter, Ari, like you always have to make it about, this actually isn't me doing anything. This is me letting you know that you completely missed the point of the argument, if you even have a side argument to make, period. The whole point of the protest, the whole point of what he's doing, the whole point of why he was backed by Nike, Adidas, Puma. Fun fact, guys, he's been getting all types of recollection and awards and all types of amazing things have been happening to Colin Kaepernick because he's fighting for an actual cause. Not to inflate his ego, not to get a career for football. He's actually fighting to save people's lives. And for those of you who really, really just love to not listen, you love to not hear what we're saying, you love to just stick to what you feel is the most important part of the argument, then by all means, continue to boycott Nike, continue to light your Fords on fire because he was backed by Ford too. At the end of the day, the purpose and the point of the argument still remains that he is fighting for the protection and the actual freedom and liberty of people of color. And if you have a problem with that, fun fact, you're racist. And I'm just going to say it just like that. This isn't oh, well, I don't like him because he doesn't disrespect the troops. We've already checked that off. I don't like him because he doesn't, his football career has nothing to do with it. Oh, well, I don't like him because he feels entitled. No. He's a black and white man, actually, fighting for the protection and the liberation of African Americans and people of color in the United States. That's it. That's all. Welcome to my TED Talk. And that's really all I have to say about it today. I promised this would be short. I promised I would get to the point. And, yeah. Oh! Lied to you. 2 other big things that have happened this week. So India, they have allowed same-sex marriage, and it is right in the world. All things are right in the world. That means that, guys, one of the largest populations on the planet is officially allowed to openly love who they want to love. And if that is not one of the biggest wins of, like, the year, of the decade, I don't know what is. So, love and congratulations to India. I am so happy for everybody who finally gets to feel safe in their own home, being exactly who they are. Or, you know, it's at least one more step to that, you know? So thank you a million times to everybody who has showed their support for that, because support everywhere is necessary. We are all human. We all deserve to love who we love. We all deserve to have the freedom to love who we love. And, you know, as someone who has as someone who has been allowed to live in a country that has allowed same-sex marriage for as long as we have, despite the fact that there are still, you know, massive amounts of discrimination and biases, of course, it is still amazing to be able to just, you know, walk outside and see people being who they want to be, loving who they want to love, and it literally not having, you know, not nearly as many of the dangerous repercussions as it used to. So, as slow as it is, guys, we are moving in the right direction all over the world, and it's amazing. And last but not least, just for those of you who want to keep up with the United States political world, Brent Kavanaugh, guys, because that will literally, like, it'll literally add another 10 minutes to this segment, and I'm really trying not to do that. All I can really say to that is, at this rate, the Republican Party, they've sold out. The GOP has officially, actually sold the United States to the devil. Like, with our blood, our sweat, and our tears. It's all marked over the contract. Brent Kavanaugh is an actual criminal. He absolutely has a history of racial profiling and sexism, which, for those of you who don't understand why Supreme Court Justice, like, why that's important, that's a lifelong appointment. That means that if he is appointed as Supreme Court Justice, he is there until he dies or until he deems fit to leave. The reason that that's an issue is because for those of us who have had the luxuries of, you know, having contraception, having freedom to vote, having, you know, I know that one was a little extra, but it's true. Like, having what we now feel are basic rights to our bodies, to our ways of life, he could threaten that. He absolutely could threaten that. And if you don't believe me, I'm not kidding. You don't have to, like, I'm not going to tell you to go and watch, some super long, drawn-out hearing, although that's exactly what you could do. Seriously, just use sites like AJ Plus now. You know what? Use whatever news sites you want to. However, understand that the biases that come with watching whatever news site you want. And secondly, even the most diehard Republican should feel an issue with having a Supreme Court justice that actually could it could change all of our lives for the drastic worse. And that's not even being remotely funny. The Supreme Court has the right to overturn its precedents. So there are monumental Supreme Court cases that could be overturned, completely eradicating the way that we have lived our lives in the United States. And while a lot of you might feel like that's an over-exaggeration, it's not. I highly recommend you go and look up some of the Supreme Court cases that I'm talking about, that they actually have asked him questions about at his hearings. That is where I will leave that. That is my reaction video for the week of September the 7th. 7th or 8th, whichever one. Guys, it's honestly been such an exhausting week that like I've lost track. That's how obscene this week has been, with the burning of Nike products, to the Supreme Court cases, to India, to all of the things in between that. It's gonna be a really, really exciting next couple of months. So yeah, that being said, guys, thanks for coming to another episode of Ask by Ari. I will be posting this today. I will be posting next week. Send in your ideas, send in your comments. You can reach me anywhere and everywhere. I love you guys, and thanks so much for watching. Thank you.